The drama starts with us seeing a young child named Vikage. He has come to the park with his mom. He says to her, I am going to go on a ride. You wait for me right here until then. Mom says, okay, go carefully. I am waiting for you right here. Then Vikage goes to take the ride. In the first 2 rounds, he sees his mom standing there, but when he takes the 3rd round, his mom is not there. Seeing this, he gets worried and starts calling out to her, Mom, where did you go? Please come back from wherever you are. I don't want to play this game. He then gets off the ride and starts looking for his mom, but she is nowhere to be found. People around him start asking, who is your mom? But he can't see anyone's face, because after his mom left, he had developed face blindness, and he faints right there. In the next scene, we see that his grandpa has brought Vikage to the hospital. He gets his eyes checked by the doctor. The doctor explains he has developed prosopagnosia. Perhaps he has suffered a deep shock. So the grandpa starts explaining, ever since his mom left him, he can't see people's faces. Then a scene from a few years later is shown where Vikage has grown up and is handling his grandpa's company. A lady comes there who is telling him about the details of her department, but Vikage tells her, I don't want to hear anything right now. First, go and get me a hot chocolate coffee. Saying this, he comes into the office, but his coffee has not reached the office yet. That's why he calls his cousin Shannon and starts asking him about the coffee. So Shannon says, now you will have to find your assistant soon, because I can't always make and serve you coffee, and I will only give you coffee today. After this, you won't get coffee. Then we see Shannon's mom, who says to him, did Vikage give you work again? He gives all the work to you. He never works himself. So Shannon starts explaining to her, when he gets his assistant, he will make her do all the work. But his mom was very angry with Vikage. That's why Shannon starts to console her. Then we are shown the female lead, Mi Ren. She works as a delivery person. She had come to deliver brownies to a lady named Noi, but that lady starts telling her, first, you taste this just in case there's poison in it. Mi Ren tastes it and gives it to her. Then she asks, haven't you found a job yet? Hearing this, Mi Ren starts coughing. So she thinks there was poison in the brownie, but Mi Ren says, oh no, I just got a cough. She starts asking about the job again. You have topped, then why are you not getting a job? So Mi Ren says, I earn good money from deliveries, so what is the need for a job? Then we see Mi Ren's mom and grandma who are working in the kitchen and talking about her. Grandma says, Mi Ren has gone for interviews in many places, but she hasn't gotten a job anywhere. And today too, she has to go for an interview. Then Mi Ren comes home and grandma brings a new dress and energy drinks for her. Mi Ren says, you have given me this dress with so much love, so I will go to the interview wearing this dress, and it will be very good for my luck. Then we see Vikage, who gets his coffee. But he says, this is not the coffee I wanted, and I need my assistant soon, so move up the interview by 1 hour. I don't want to interview anyone after 1 hour. Mi Ren also finds out that the interviews have been postponed by 1 hour, so she immediately runs from there. Meanwhile, Shannon had reached the office, and his assistant tells him, all the girls for the interview have reached the company, but only one girl has not come yet. When Shannon hears that girl's name, he feels as if he already knows her. That's why he tells his assistant, make Vikage wait until this girl arrives, because the kind of assistant he wants, she could be the one. Mi Ren also reaches the running company and comes to the same room where all the other girls were sitting for the interview. Vikage sees her and says, you made me wait so long for this girl? So she says, I was late only today. It will never happen again from next time. And anyway, you had scheduled the meeting early, right? So it takes time to arrive. Vikage gets angry at this and rejects her after seeing her dressing sense. Then Mi Ren tells him her name and is about to leave from there. She had told her name was Mi Ren Niraum. Hearing this, Vikage stops her right there and says, you go and meet me in the office. Then Mi Ren comes to his office and he says, even if I hire you as my secretary, how will you be useful to me? So Mi Ren explains, I learn work very quickly. And then Vikage tells her to change her dressing style. And he also explains his work to her, and he hands her a lot of files and says, you have to memorize all of this and come tomorrow. Then Shannon takes Mi Ren to get her dressing sense changed. There she selects many dresses, and Shannon gets her some dresses of the kind that he likes. After this, he takes her to the salon. After changing her hairstyle and dress, when Mi Ren comes home, her mom is shocked to see her and says, where are you coming from after doing so much shopping? So Mi Ren tells her, I didn't buy these. My company people gave them to me. Hearing this, her mom becomes very happy that she finally got a job. Just then, Grandma also comes there, and she is also very happy to hear about the job. The work that Vikage had given her, Mi Ren sits at night and starts memorizing all those files. Then she asks her mom, what are you doing? So she tells her, I have received an order for apple pie. I am just making that. So Mi Ren says to her, can I help you? But mom says, you have been memorizing these files for a long time, and you also have to go to the company in the morning, so you go and rest. But Mi Ren explains, I have memorized all the work. And saying this, she herself goes to the kitchen to help them. The next day when she comes to the company, Shannon is quite surprised to see her because she was looking very good in this new look. Then she goes to Vikage's office, and the first task he gives her is, you have to make hot chocolate for me. Then Mi Ren also starts her work. She makes coffee and brings it to Vikage. Vikage tastes it and is very shocked. How did she make such good coffee? And in a flashback, it is shown that Vikage's mom also used to make coffee like this for him. After his mom left, Vikage is sitting in a place and crying when Shannon comes to him and shares his ice cream with him and says, I will share all of my things with you, and from now on you can consider my mom as your mom too. Vikage becomes happy with this and starts eating chocolate while sitting with him. In the present time, Vikage was drinking coffee and Mi Ren was very happy seeing him. And then Vikage starts asking her, how do you know how to make this coffee? Where did you learn it from? So Mi Ren says, I made it as I knew how. But Vikage forces her a lot and asks, you tell me how you made this. I have been to many countries and have never found coffee like this anywhere. How can you make it? So Mi Ren says, my mom taught me this. After this, he asks Mi Ren to make another coffee and bring it, and then Shannon also comes to his office, and he also asks him to let him taste the coffee. But Vikage is not letting him taste his coffee. Mi Ren, who is sitting outside, sees a lady from the front carrying Vikage and Shannon's shirts. She is about to ask about it when Vikage and Shannon come out from the front. Coffee was spilled on their clothes. Before she could ask them anything, they both take off their shirts to change in front of her. Mi Ren is surprised to see this. Are these two going mad that they started taking off their clothes in front of me? And starts saying, what are you two suddenly doing? So they both say, you are very lucky that we changed our shirts in front of you because we had completely forgotten about you, that you are also here. So Mi Ren says, you should be more mindful, this is wrong. You people should say sorry to me for this. So they both also bow down and start saying sorry to her. Vikage had to go to a party where he was also going to take Mi Ren with him. That's why he comes to select a dress for her. And he also selects a dress for himself there. When Mi Ren selects a dress for herself, he goes close to her and starts looking at her. He couldn't see Mi Ren's face, but then he touches her face and says, you should wear Matheny's earrings with this. Then the party scene is shown where everyone was arriving. Vikage comes with Mi Ren. He had come to get an investor for his company. He first goes on stage and gives his speech. There a girl was praising him, but Vikage didn't know who had said that. He remembers that he had told Mi Ren, you have to tell me about people. So Mi Ren had asked him, don't you remember people's faces? So Vikage had not told her about his disease, but had said, you just do what I say. That's why Mi Ren also comes to do her work and tells him, this is Miss Thanya who praised you. That's why Vikage then says, thanks to her. After this, when he is standing, Thanya comes there. Mi Ren was about to tell him that Thanya is coming towards him, but by then, she goes and stands next to him, and she starts getting very familiar with Vikage. I want to meet you. I have some work with you. But Vikage clearly refuses her and says, if you have some work, you can speak to my assistant about it. There, we see Vikage's grandpa, and Shannon's mom comes to him and starts telling him Vikage has put all the burden of his work on Shannon. But Grandpa starts saying, it's nothing like that. Both have different jobs and both do their own work. Saying this, Grandpa leaves from there. Just then, Thanya comes to them, so Mom asks her, did Vikage refuse you? So she says, yes, he is just unreachable. She says, if you have some work, you can talk to Shannon. Then we see Vikage, who was standing hidden in a place because Mi Ren had disappeared somewhere. But just then, Mi Ren comes there looking for him, so Vikage says to her, didn't I tell you that you have to be with me all the time? They both go to talk to their investor. After talking, both of them also come to see off the investor. She was also ready to invest in Vikage's work. That investor starts praising Mi Ren's earrings, so Mi Ren says, these are very heavy, I don't like them at all. But Mi Ren did not know that these earrings were from her brand, and she herself designed them. Hearing Mi Ren's words, she gets angry and leaves in a huff. When Mi Ren finds out about this, she starts saying sorry to Vikage, but Vikage scolds her a lot because his investor had left because of her. After he scolds her a lot, Mi Ren also leaves from there in anger. After she leaves, Vikage regrets, maybe I shouldn't have scolded her so much. She comes from a poor family, how would she know about brands? That's why he comes looking for her to say sorry. We see Shannon in his house. There his mom is saying to him, I heard that his investor left because of his secretary. It served him right. So Shannon says, Mom, what are you talking about? So mom says, you should also start your own company. Thanya also wants to invest in your company there. I have talked to her, and she can invest in your company. Mom was trying to turn Shannon against Vikage, and he was also taking interest in her words. Mi Ren was regretting what she did yesterday. That's why the next day she brings an apology cake for Vikage, but Vikage hadn't come to the office yet, so Shannon himself eats the cake. Then she goes to look for Vikage. Looking for him, she reaches the park where she finds him sitting on a ride. It was the same ride he sat on in his childhood, and after that, his mom had left him. Vikage is lost in his thoughts when Mi Ren comes running to him and says, "Boss, you are here." He is quite surprised to see her here because no one knew about him being here. He starts asking her, "Have you put a tracker on me?" Saying this, he starts checking himself, but Mi Ren tells him a silly theory. Then they both come back from there. At night, Vikage tells Mi Ren, "Tomorrow we have to go to a restaurant for a meeting, so you come well-dressed." Saying this, he leaves, but after a while he comes back and says, "Tomorrow, you wear high heels because your height is very short, and I have to bend down again and again to listen to you, because of which my back has started hurting, and this smell of traffic should not come from you." Saying this, he leaves, but Mi Ren is very angry with him and says, "He is a very rude person. Firstly, my feet have already started hurting from wearing heels all day, and he is telling me to wear heels again." Thanya had called Vikage to meet, but he reaches there with Mi Ren. Thanya gets very angry at this and starts taunting Mi Ren a lot. After this, Vikage asks Mi Ren, "I heard you made an apology cake for me, so where is it?" She tells him, "Shannon ate that." But Vikage starts getting angry at this and says, "How can you give my cake to someone else?" So Mi Ren says to him, "It's just a cake. I will make it again for you." But he says, "I want it now." Then we see Thanya with Shannon. Shannon asks her, "How was your date today?" So she says, "It was very bad because he brought his secretary with him." Here we see Vikage and Mi Ren. He had come to their house because he had asked Mi Ren to make a cake urgently. They were coming into the house hiding, but due to the lights being off, they collide in the dark and fall on top of each other. They are about to have an accidental kiss when the lights turn on, and Grandma comes there. She sees Vikage close to Mi Ren and gets angry and starts hitting Vikage. But by then, Mom also comes and stops Grandma. First, find out who he is. Vikage is also saying, "I haven't done anything wrong with your granddaughter." But Grandma is not listening to him. She is just busy beating him. But Mom stops them with great difficulty, and Mi Ren explains, "He is my boss." After hearing this, she is shocked. And then Vikage tells them about himself. Then we see about Vikage's mom, who had decided to live in a church, and she tells Mi Ren and her mom about this. She says to them, "If you people ever want to meet me, you can come here, but you should not tell anyone else about this." Just then, Mi Ren's mom starts showing her the news on which her missing news had come. Mom says, "You are being searched for. If you want to go back to your son, you can go." But Vikage's mom explains, "My condition is not at all good, and day by day, this condition will get worse. One day, I will forget everyone, and maybe I will also forget who I am." Anyway, Vikage has struggled a lot. I don't want him to face more difficulties because of me. His dad has already passed away. But I want a favor from you people that you should not tell anyone about me. Mi Ren's mom also has to say yes to them seeing her condition. In the present, Mi Ren's mom grabs her and brings her outside and asks, "Is he her son?" So Mi Ren says, "You speak a little softly because he also doesn't know about this." Mom is getting worried and thinks, what if Vikage finds out something about them? But Mi Ren says, "How will he find out? If we don't tell him, he will leave from here after making the cake." Then Mi Ren comes back to the kitchen, and Vikage says to her, "I thought you would make a cake and feed me, but you are making me work here." So Mi Ren says, "If you want to eat cake, then you should also know how to make it." The next day, after the cake is made, Mi Ren takes that cake to Vikage's mom and tells her, "Your son has made this cake." Hearing this, she is shocked, and then starts crying that she is eating a cake made by her son's hands, and says, "The cake is very good." And she starts asking, "How is he and how do you know him?" So Mi Ren tells them, "I had applied to his company many times, but I was rejected every time. After applying many times, I thought I should use your name so that he would call me after seeing your name. And then that's what happened. Seeing your name, he hired me for the job. I even made and gave him the hot chocolate of the recipe you told me. He still misses you." Hearing this, she becomes happy and starts asking, how do the people around him treat him? And does he have any disease? Mi Ren explains, "Vikage is doing his work very well and other people also love him. And he doesn't have any disease." Then she starts asking Mi Ren for a favor. "Can you bring me a picture of Vikage?" Mi Ren agrees to this. Mom was happy eating the cake when her expression changes, and we find out that she has forgotten everything. Even she had forgotten herself. She starts asking Mi Ren, Who are you and who am I?" Hearing this, Mi Ren hugs her and says to her, "Don't worry, I am not a bad person." When Mi Ren comes home, she sees that Auntie has come to take brownies from her. The next day, a meeting is being held in the company where Grandpa explains Vikage and Shannon have to find a good investor. Saying this, Grandpa leaves, and Shannon's mom starts telling him, "I have an investor in mind." So Shannon tells her, "Mom, I want to do my own work." But his mom wanted to belittle Vikage, so she says, "Vikage doesn't have a mom to help him, but I am here with you so I can help you." Hearing this, Vikage feels bad, so he gets up and leaves from there. Mi Ren also starts to get up and follow him, so Shannon's mom reads her name, Nira Umfan, on her ID, and starts asking her, "Who gave you this name?" But Shannon tells her, "Mom, let her go. She is going to do her work." Mi Ren leaves, but Shannon's mom starts saying, "How can her name be like Vikage's mom? This can't be a coincidence. I have tried to find her for so many years, but I couldn't find any person with this name." So Shannon says, "Mom, leave her. She is just an assistant." So Mom says, "It is important to have information." Saying this, she leaves. Then Vikage tells Mi Ren, "We have to go to an investor named Beg Noi, and she likes nature a lot. Apart from this, I don't know anything else about her." Then they both come to a person named Noi. First, they are not agreeing to be an investor, but after convincing them a lot, they find out that this is not the person they are looking for to invest in their company. Vikage gets annoyed by this and sits in his car, and Mi Ren is trying to find out about Beg Noi everywhere. Then we are shown Shannon, who has video called Thanya. He is talking to her about investing in his company. Thanya had also agreed to invest in his company. Then we see Shannon's mom, who was trying to find out about Vikage's mom. She says, "Earlier when I tried to find out about a person named Nirumfan, I didn't find any person. Then suddenly, where did this girl with this name come from?" Meanwhile, Mi Ren comes to give brownies to Auntie Noi, but she was well-dressed and going somewhere. She takes the brownies and is leaving from there. She talks to her assistant, and from their conversation, Mi Ren finds out that her name is Beg Noi. Hearing this, Mi Ren starts running behind her car and says, "Wait, I need to talk to you about something." She also stops, so Mi Ren tells her, "My boss needs your investment," but she says, "You are just wasting my time." Saying this, she leaves. But still, Mi Ren starts telling her about their project. So she stops again and says, "Tell your boss to come and meet me after 2 days." After hearing this, Mi Ren becomes happy, and she also leaves from there. She comes and tells all this to Vikage. He is happy to hear this and says, "You finally found her." Then he asks her, "When did she call us?" So she tells him she is called after 2 days. So Vikage says, "Then you will have to stay here for 2 days, because we will work on our project together and make it even better, so that Beg Noi accepts our work as soon as she sees it." Then Vikage asks her to make coffee. She is very happy while making coffee and says, "Now I have found Beg Noi," and Shannon also hears this. Then we see Shannon's mom, who is getting more information about Vikage's mom, but she is not finding out anything. She says, "I know she is still in this world, and I wish she wasn't." And Vikage had no one to support him. Vikage and Mi Ren were working on their application together late into the night. While working, Mi Ren falls asleep there. So Vikage comes and sits next to her and starts looking closely at her face. And then he touches her face to see how her eyes would be, how her nose would be, and then says, "If I could see your face, I would only want to see you smiling." Saying this, he goes and stands on the side. Mi Ren, who was listening to all his words, thinks, "After all, why does he want to see me smiling when I am always smiling?" Because Mi Ren did not know about his face blindness. Then, the next day, they both come to meet Beg Noi. Vikage tells her about the application. "We have made this application for disabled people." But Beg Noi does not listen to their words and starts taking the brownies from Mi Ren to leave. But how could Mi Ren let her go? She takes the brownies from her again and says, "You said you would give us time. Then how can you leave from here like this?" Then she also agrees to listen to her, and Vikage starts telling her again. So Beg Noi says, "What do you think will disabled people have smartphones to use your app? And you are so young, you wouldn't even know about the problems of a disabled person, what features they would need in this app. That's why I will not invest in this app." Saying this, she starts taking the brownies again to leave. But just then, Vikage tells them, "I am disabled myself." Hearing this, Mi Ren and Beg Noi both stop and start looking at him in surprise. Vikage tells them, "I have face blindness. I can only recognize people by looking at their clothes and their appearance, but I also want to see people, how they are looking at me." and what they are thinking about me. Are they angry with me or are they happy with me? Mi Ren becomes quite emotional after hearing his words, and Begnoi was listening to his words carefully, and she asks Mi Ren, "Did you know about this?" So Vikage explains, "Apart from my family, no one else knows about this. This condition of mine happened when I was 10 years old and my mother left me, and I made the application so that I could also use it like other people, and those who are like me can also use this app." Mi Ren starts crying after hearing his words, so Vikage touches her face to see if she is really crying. And when her cheeks are cold, he says, "You shouldn't cry." Mi Ren says to him, "Now I understand why I had to tell you about someone when they came towards you." Then Begnoi tells them, "I will look at your work. If I like this application, I will be ready to invest. Otherwise not." Saying this, she leaves. Vikage asks her, what were her facial expressions like? So she tells him, it seemed like she was pitying you. So Vikage says, "I don't like it at all when people pity me. And were you also crying out of pity for me?" So Mi Ren says, "No, I was just thinking how much you must have had to face. You have to maintain such a cold behavior in front of people to hide your disease, so that people don't find out about your weakness." Next day, Mi Ren brings a tool for Vikage to the company. As soon as he sees it, Vikage says to her, "This is used for dogs, isn't it? And do you mistake me for a dog?" Mi Ren tells him, "Whenever I click this, you will have to smile, because when someone looks at you with a smile but you don't smile back, how rude it looks. And this can also harm your business. That's why I have brought this tool for you." Vikage asks, "But how will I know about people?" Mi Ren says, "I will tell you their direction and everything. This will only be used for smiling." Then she explains, "When I click it once, you have to smile. And when I do it twice, you don't have to smile." Then Vikage says to her, "If you leave from here one day, what will happen to me? I will get used to you." Hearing this, Mi Ren becomes silent because she had already thought that she would leave from here soon. So she says, "I will teach you everything before I leave. I will also teach you how to make that hot chocolate. And this clicking works, anyone else can do it for you. And when I am gone, you will already know everything." Vikage also stands up and looks at her and says, "Why will I need someone else? I won't fire you at all." Then Mi Ren takes him outside and he talks to all the colleagues with a smile. He praises their work and also gives everyone a smile. Mi Ren is telling him to smile by clicking the tool. Seeing this, everyone was quite shocked. What has suddenly happened to Vikage? He had never talked to us like this. But still, they were very happy with his behavior. Shannon is watching all this. We are shown a scene from their past where they both meet in the park and fall after colliding with each other, and both start fighting with each other. "I fell because of you, so you say sorry to me first." And Mi Ren is also saying the same thing to him. Just then, both their moms come and pick them up. Vikage's mom says to him, "Don't run away from me like this. I get worried." Vikage's mom says sorry to them, so Mi Ren's mom says, "Yes, my daughter was also running. Come on, say sorry to each other." At their mom's insistence, both have to say sorry forcefully, and when they are leaving from there, they start teasing each other. Then Vikage is shown taking a shower, and Shannon is doing his exercise. Both these girls are also getting ready because they had to come to the meeting today. And Mi Ren was also worried about Begnoi. Will she even come to the meeting today or not? And what will happen to our investment? Then the meeting scene is shown where Grandpa asks both of them, "Where are your investors?" Vikage was sitting completely silent because Begnoi had not come there. And Shannon's mom also starts belittling him. "It seems Shannon was not with you today. That's why you couldn't do anything." Then Shannon starts telling everyone about his investor, Thanya. Thanya's introduction happens with everyone, and she starts telling Vikage, "If you don't have any investor, I can invest with you too." But Vikage says to Grandpa, "I will definitely find some investor." At this, Shannon's mom tells him, "Today your investor's seat is empty, so maybe it will remain empty in the future as well." Saying this, she is laughing when Begnoi enters, who apologizes to everyone for being late. Everyone is shocked to see her. Begnoi explains, "When I woke up in the morning, my back was hurting. That's why I got late." Then Mi Ren goes to her and brings her to a seat. Grandpa tells Vikage, "Introduce your investor to everyone." Hearing this, Vikage introduces her to everyone. Then Vikage thanks Begnoi. "You accepted my application, and you are also ready for the investment." Begnoi also says, "If you need help with anything, you can come to me." After this, Mi Ren goes to the rooftop to breathe in the fresh air for a while. After some time, Shannon also comes there, and when they both are leaving from there, they find out that the door is locked from the outside. Shannon calls his assistant, but then his phone's battery dies. So he tells Mi Ren, "You call her from your phone." But Mi Ren explains, "I didn't bring my phone." Now both are sitting there waiting for someone to come when Vikage comes there looking for Mi Ren. Then, when the three of them are in the elevator to go back, the elevator suddenly breaks down. So Vikage starts telling Mi Ren, "Wherever you go, everything breaks down. Just now you went to the rooftop and got stuck there, and you came in the elevator and this elevator broke down. So Mi Ren says, I am not the only unlucky one here because you are also here. And the three of us are stuck together. If any of us were lucky, we would have gotten out of here. Hearing this, he also becomes silent, and Shannon calls someone and tells them the elevator is broken. After this, Vikage and Mi Ren start fighting with each other again that the elevator broke down because of you, and Mi Ren is also saying the same thing. But after some time, the elevator gets fixed on its own and the three of them get out of there. Then Mi Ren comes to her house and Mom asks her, how was today's meeting? So she starts telling them very excitedly, today, Beg Noi came at the last moment in such a way that everyone was shocked to see her. After hearing this, Mi Ren's mom says to her, now you resign from this job because you didn't use your name but his mom's name. And if this truth comes out in front of Vikage one day, what answer will you give and what will you tell him about where his mom is? You will get into trouble because of all this. She tells her mom, okay, I will leave the job soon. Then she goes to meet Vikage's mom and starts showing her some latest pictures of Vikage, which makes her very happy. Then we see Vikage, who had given someone the task of finding his mom, but he is not getting any information about her. Mi Ren is talking to Vikage's mom, and there we see that a person is secretly taking their pictures. Shannon's mom had sent him to find out about Vikage's mom. He brings those pictures and shows them to her, and he also tells her Mi Ren's real name is Mi Ren, and the name she used is not her real name. She had applied for the job with her own name several times, but she was rejected. But when she used this name, she was called. Then she tells that person, you collect more information, why she is living there, and why Vikage's secretary went to meet her. When Vikage makes a mistake, I will use these very pictures against him. Thinking this, she becomes very happy. Then Vikage and Shannon are shown in a meeting. There a person is telling Vikage, this application of yours for finding missing persons doesn't seem right to me and I don't think we can fix it, and it will take more time to develop this application. Another person starts saying, maybe some people disappeared for the safety of their family. So he says, it's true that they disappeared, but at least their family members should know about it. So Shannon says to him, those family members, where their husbands themselves abused them. It was because of that family that she disappeared. Otherwise, what was the need for her to leave? I think you must have thought about this. Then both those boys leave from there. And Vikage says, are you trying to say that my mom left me because of me? Vikage is talking to him in a loud voice. So Shannon also starts shouting at him and says, don't talk to me like that. You are in this chair today only because of Grandpa. Otherwise, you don't even have such skills. And don't bring your personal life into business. Saying all this, he leaves from there. Then Mi Ren starts comforting Vikage, but he starts shouting at her. You can never understand me because I have both a mom and a grandma. My mom left me and everyone kept considering me a burden. If anyone loved me even a little, everyone would start thinking that they were spoiling me. But when my mom, who would spoil me, wasn't there, how could I be spoiled? Mi Ren starts crying after hearing his words, and Vikage looks at her face and tries to know what her expressions would be. But she silently leaves from there. That's why Vikage also realizes that perhaps he scolded Mi Ren for no reason. Mi Ren comes outside and cries a lot because she knew about his mom, but still she couldn't tell Vikage. Vikage also comes there and starts saying sorry to her, but she is still crying, so he takes her to the park. First he brings ice cream for her, and then they both enjoy the ride a lot. Then they both go to a haunted house together where Mi Ren gets very scared seeing a ghost. But Vikage couldn't see anyone's face, so he doesn't get scared. And he starts asking Mi Ren, you tell me, what is there in this ghost? Why are you scared of it? She was very scared, so she says, let's leave all this, let's go outside. But he was not going outside. He was trying to see that ghost. Why are people scared of it? I also want to be scared. Then he starts asking Mi Ren, tell me how they look. Just by looking at their clothes, I feel that they must be very dirty. Hearing such words from him, the ghost also gets quite disappointed. And Vikage also tells him, you should change your shirt. It is very bad. When you people die, we bury you in such clean clothes. Then how do you people become so dirty? He is repeatedly asking Mi Ren about its expression and is very curious about how ghosts would look. Mi Ren tells him, that ghost is very angry with you, so we should go outside. But Vikage leaves from there saying, I want to see how they look, and even if a real ghost comes in front of me, I won't be scared of it because I won't even see its face. Then while coming from there, Vikage is telling Mi Ren, ever since I met you, I have started smiling a lot more. I think we both are absolutely perfect for each other. I have seen that people who get a girlfriend become a perfect person. That's why I want you to become my girlfriend too. So, can we both date? Saying this, as soon as he turns around and looks, Mi Ren is not there. He gets worried and starts looking for her, but soon he finds Mi Ren, who had gotten lost due to the crowd. Then Vikage comes to drop her at her house. The next day, Vikage cannot find Mi Ren anywhere in his company. He comes to his office and finds the recipe for hot chocolate there, because Mi Ren had told him that when she leaves from here, she will tell him the recipe for hot chocolate. Vikage starts calling her, but she does not pick up his call. Then Vikage finds out that Mi Ren had given her resignation letter 2 or 3 days ago. After this, he goes out to find her. Why did she leave the job? Shannon also helps him in this. After a lot of searching, he finds Mi Ren at a bus stop. He starts scolding her. Why did you suddenly disappear? You know that I have gone through this before, so why did you do this to me too? You shouldn't have done that. Mi Ren says sorry to him and hugs him. She feels like crying seeing Vikage's condition. Vikage asks, why are you irritating me? Tell me, what are your expressions? So Mi Ren says to him, I am looking at you and there is a lot of guilt in my eyes. So Vikage says, why are you feeling guilty? What have you done wrong? Hearing this, Mi Ren is about to tell him something. Vikage kisses her and says, I know everything. Hearing this, she is surprised. She thinks maybe he has found out about his mom, but Vikage was thinking that Mi Ren also has feelings for him. And he says, you couldn't tell me your feelings because I am the CEO of the company and you are a poor girl, but I don't think anything like that. Hearing this, Mi Ren is surprised because she had thought something else. Then he hugs her and tells Mi Ren, I love you. Mi Ren was not answering anything yet. He tells her, I haven't signed your resignation letter yet, so you have to come to the company from tomorrow. Then we see Thanya, who is instigating Chanan against Vikage because Chanan's mom had shown both of them the photos of Vikage's mom with Mi Ren. Thanya says to him, if we use those photos, you can be above Vikage, and he won't be able to do anything. Chanan says to her, I need some time to think about this. Then Mi Ren comes to her house and her mom asks her, did you tell Vikage the truth? So Mi Ren says, I was about to tell him, but then he confessed his feelings. I also like him, so I couldn't say anything at that time, but I will tell him everything soon. Then in the morning, Vikage comes to her house to pick her up and tells her, during work hours, we won't be girlfriend and boyfriend. You will be my secretary and I will be your boss. They come to the company and start their work, and they are talking to each other very nicely. Seeing this, Shannon also understands everything and was also very angry with Vikage because he also liked Mi Ren. Then in the meeting, Vikage tells about his application. Then Grandpa says, I am arranging a party where investors and everyone else will come. He gives the responsibility of arranging that party to Shannon's mom. After the meeting is over, Shannon grabs Mi Ren's hand and leaves from there. Seeing this, Shannon's mom is surprised and starts saying, is something going on between these two? I didn't know that Vikage could do this. He himself is bent on bringing himself down from a height. Hearing this, Chanan says, Mom, ever since Mi Ren came into Vikage's life, he has started being very happy, and he is also doing all the work very well. Saying this, he leaves from there because he was angry with Mi Ren for being with Vikage. After all, he also likes her. Thanya also finds out from Chanan's mom that Vikage is dating Mi Ren. So she comes and starts fighting with Mi Ren. What dirty tricks did you use to trap Vikage? So Mi Ren says, sorry if this hurt you, but it's not like what you are thinking. In the meantime, Vikage comes there, and he tells Thanya, she is my choice, so you have no right to say anything about her. So Thanya says, how can she be your choice? Vikage says, this will hurt you, but I want to make it clear that I don't like a girl like you at all. Saying this, he takes Mi Ren and leaves from there. And then he takes her to the office and asks, did you have any problem? So Mi Ren says, if I am in a relationship with you, then I have to learn to face these things. But Vikage says, I will always protect you because a lot of wrong things have always happened with my mom because my dad did not support her, and our family was also against their marriage. Dad was always on the family's side so that they wouldn't get hurt. But for me, none of this matters. I will always protect you. My mom had to face a lot of problems because of my dad, but I will never let this happen to you. Then Mi Ren says, tomorrow is Thursday, and on Sunday, I have to go out with you because I have to tell you something important. Then we see Thanya, who has come to Channel, and she says to him, when you already knew that Mi Ren has become his girlfriend, why didn't you tell me? But you liked her, right? So I thought you would take her, and I would get Vikage. Then why didn't you confess your love? That girl must only want money, right? You have money too. Chanan says, that girl doesn't care about money. Thanya says, we should also think about ourselves. We both love them, so we have to find a way to separate them, because I don't like that Mi Ren with Vikage at all. So Chanan decides that now he will use those pictures and also tells Thanya about this. The day of the party is shown. When Vikage's name is called on the stage, he does not come, but Shannon comes in his place. And he comes and says Vikage had an urgent work, due to which he could not come. Hearing this, Mi Ren quickly goes to Vikage and finds out that Vikage had received those pictures in which Mi Ren was with his mom. When Mi Ren reaches there, Vikage angrily throws all those pictures on her and says, "This is you, isn't it? And the one with you is my mom." He had recognized his mom by her ring. Vikage is very angry with her and says, "I believed in you the most, but you made me a stupid. You even changed your name to my mom's name so that I would hire you." Mi Ren is crying and saying, "At least give me a chance to explain my side," but he is not listening to her at all. On the other hand, Shannon is telling everyone about the next innovation, and everyone is also coming to invest in it. Grandpa is looking for Vikage there, so Shannon's mom comes and tells them he is dating his secretary. There was a fight between them over something, and they left from here. Then she goes there and tells Shannon's secretary, Grandpa should not find out that Vikage's mom has been found. Then we see Mi Ren, who comes home and falls to the ground crying. Her mom and grandma go and console her and start asking her what happened, but she is just crying. So her mom understands that perhaps Vikage has found out about his mom. Mi Ren explains, "I was about to tell him about this, but he found out before that." Grandma asks, "Who are you two talking about?" So mom tells her, "The lady who lives in the church is Vikage's mom. We knew about this, and now Vikage also knows." Mom starts explaining to Mi Ren, "It's not your fault at all. His mom herself had forbidden us to tell him the truth. That's why we didn't tell him. Otherwise, we would have told him earlier." Thanya comes to Vikage and starts instigating him against Mi Ren, but Vikage says to her, "You are a very talented girl, but know one thing. I will never like you, nor will I love you, so you leave from here, leave me alone." Hearing this, Thanya looks at him and then leaves from there. Shannon was very happy because he had done what he wanted, but Grandpa is explaining to him, "It is necessary for both of you to be together in the next innovation. That's why you should have brought Vikage along. You should have looked for him where he is." But Shannon gets angry at this and starts telling him, he is not a 10-year-old child that I should go around looking for him, and I can do my work according to my own way. You have always supported him because of his face blindness condition, and you never paid any attention to me. And I think you should also get your checkup done in case you have some kind of blindness disease, because you can't even see my work, what I have done, what I can do. Saying this, Shannon leaves from there, but Grandpa gets worried. We see Mi Ren, who is very upset thinking about Vikage. She is remembering the things that Vikage had said in anger. Then she messages him and says, "Give me a chance to explain my side. I can also tell you about your mom, where she is." After sending this message, Mi Ren was thinking that maybe Vikage will not reply, but his reply comes immediately, "Tell me, where is my mom?" So she sends him his mom's location. Then Shannon's mom gives an order to the same person, "You have to go to the church and bring Vikage's mom." Now her person also goes out to find Vikage's mom. From there, Vikage was also going to find his mom. That person goes to the church and investigates but does not find Vikage's mom there. He also calls and tells Shannon's mom about this. At this, she gets very angry. Where has she disappeared now? Then we see Vikage, who has come to the hospital, and his mom was admitted there. He couldn't see his mom's face either, but still he recognizes her. But his mom couldn't recognize him at all. The nurse tells Vikage, "The father had told us to keep her hidden here, and Mi Ren had told him this. That's why we will keep her here." Vikage is surprised to hear this. "Did Mi Ren say this to you?" So the nurse explains, yes, her family has taken care of her until now and has never left her alone. Mi Ren had told her many times, "I want to tell your son about you," but she refused her. Whenever she wanted to tell, she would refuse Mi Ren because she did not want to tell you that the reason for her disappearance is her disease. She forgets everyone, and she did not want to be a burden on you. In the meeting room, Shannon is explaining about his app very well to everyone. Grandpa asks him, "What happened to Begnoy? Is she ready for the investment?" So Shannon tells them, "I don't know. She is not even attending my call." Grandpa says, "Contact her soon, because I want her investment, otherwise this work will not be done." Then Mi Ren comes to Begnoy's house to give brownies. Begnoy asks her, "What happened to the investment I made? Is the work happening or not? Because I don't want to work with Shannon. I had invested because of Vikage." Hearing this, Mi Ren says, "Is Vikage not going to work?" So Begnoy says, "No, he is your boss, don't you know?" So Mi Ren explains, "I have resigned." Hearing this, Begnoy gets even angrier and says, "I don't know all this. You go back to the job and find Vikage too, because I want to work with him. Otherwise, I will take back my investment." After this, Mi Ren goes to the company, and Shannon is very happy to see her. He thinks that maybe Mi Ren has now come to work with him, but she goes there and starts asking about Vikage. Is he not coming to the company? Hearing this, his smile disappears. He says, why is everyone coming here and asking me about Vikage? And I don't know about him. He is not coming to work, and maybe he will never come. All the workers have come to work with me, so if you want, you can also come. Mi Ren asks, did you show him the picture of Vikage's mom? So he accepts this. Mi Ren says, your timing is very wrong. You just want to keep him below you. Hearing this, Shannon gets angry. Then we see Vikage's mom. The nurse is telling Vikage, until she herself is ready to go with you, we cannot send her with you. Then he brings coffee-making supplies to Mi Ren's house and starts making coffee with her. Mi Ren was telling him which ingredient to use and how much. And after the coffee was made, when Vikage tastes it, it was made very well. He is happily looking at Mi Ren, but then he remembers that he is angry with her. So he makes an upset face. Mi Ren's mom and grandma also come and watch them. Mi Ren then says sorry to Vikage. I didn't tell you about your mom. But he says, I don't want to talk about this right now. I just want to focus on my mom now. Then Vikage sits and has lunch with their family. Beg Noi is also there. After eating, she says to Vikage, I want to talk to you about something in private. Saying this, she takes him aside and says to him, a lot is happening in your life right now, so I am giving you some time. But don't forget that I had invested with you, not with Shannon. That's why you have also found your mom now, and you are also getting her treated. So in this way, you should fix all the other things as well. You should now go back to your company and also fix your relationship. Shannon has also turned against you, and if you step down from the CEO position, you will not be able to take care of anyone. That's why you have to go back to work. I have also gone through such a situation. That's why I am explaining all this to you. Just then, they see Mi Ren standing there and call her, don't listen to our conversation by hiding there. Come here. Then she says to Mi Ren, now you will help me in my work and also help Vikage in his work. Later, Vikage also forgives her, and they both get together. Then we see Shannon and Thanya. They both are planning to remove Vikage from the CEO post. Vikage is talking to Mi Ren. My brother has turned against me, but I never want to compete with him by being against him. Then they both go to the hospital to meet his mom. Vikage makes coffee for his mom exactly like she used to make. He was thinking that maybe she would remember something after tasting this coffee, but she doesn't remember anything. Instead, she says to him, gentlemen, you have made very good coffee. Can you also tell me its recipe? He gets very upset hearing this and goes outside and starts crying and says, why couldn't I find my mom earlier? If I had found her earlier, maybe her condition would not have been so bad today. I am losing everyone one by one. Now even Shannon has moved away from me. Mi Ren comes there and comforts him. Then the nurse goes and tells him, your mom has gone somewhere. Hearing this, Vikage quickly goes and starts looking for her. He goes to the same place where his mom used to come to breathe in the fresh air. There he sees that his mom was talking to a child. She says to him, my son was also your age, and now I am sure that he must have become tall and very lovely. Vikage is also standing and listening to this, and he thinks that maybe his mom has remembered me. Just then, that child's mom comes there and he goes to them. After they leave, mom turns around and looks at him and recognizes him. She says, are you really Vikage? He becomes very happy hearing this and starts crying. Then he quickly goes and hugs his mom. His mom says, you are even more lovely than in the picture. He first starts looking at his mom. At first he couldn't see her face, but after seeing his mom, he starts seeing her face too. He happily starts telling her, I can see everything now. I can see your face too. His mom is also very happy to hear that her son's disease has been cured. He hugs her again, and just then, he sees Mi Ren standing there. He could also see her face. Then he goes to her and asks her, are you Mi Ren? So Mi Ren says, yes. So he says, you are very cute. Then he starts taking selfies with his mom. When you forget me, I will show you this photo. Then Vikage brings his mom from the hospital to his home. Mi Ren says to him, you should put your childhood photos and current photos in your house so that your mom remembers you. At this, Vikage says, your idea is quite good. Then we see Shannon's mom, who is giving gifts to some ladies and telling them, vote for my son. Shannon also calls all the investors to talk so that they all vote for him too. Then we see everyone in the meeting room. Shannon is telling about the innovation, and just then, Grandpa also comes there. Shannon asks all the investors, we are removing Vikage from the CEO position, so does anyone have any problem with this? They are all thinking about this when Vikage comes there. Shannon gets very angry seeing him, but Vikage explains, I myself have come to vote for Shannon to give him my CEO position. He says, I know that if Shannon gets this position, he will work very well. And anyway, the app is not complete yet, and I know he will complete it. But Grandpa says, I want to give Vikage another chance. Now Grandpa was on Vikage's side, so the rest of the investors also side with him. Seeing this, Shanon's mom gets very angry. You people were going to vote for us? Then how did you go to his side? But Shannon says, we should follow Grandpa's advice. We should do what he says. And thanks. You all supported me, because no one else here wants to support me. Saying this, he leaves from here. After they leave, Grandpa tells everyone, this is the last chance being given to Vikage. After this, he will not be given any chance. Then Vikage comes out with Grandpa and tells him about his mom. I have found her and she is with me now, but I want that other people should not be told about her yet. Then he also tells them, my face blindness has been cured and I can see everyone's faces. Hearing this, Grandpa also becomes very happy and hugs him. Then we see Thanya, who had called Vikage's company's programmer to meet. Thanya asks them, do you have the data of all the users? All the people who have registered in the application. So he explains, yes, I have the data of all the people. Thanya says to him, I want you to leak the data of all those people. Hearing this, he is quite shocked. Then Thanya says, I am giving you this order as a major shareholder, that the data has to be leaked, but only the data of those people who are related to Vikage. Then Vikage comes to the company, he goes to the list, and Shannon also comes there. There is a lot of fighting between the two of them inside the elevator. The elevator opens, and we see that they both had beaten each other a lot. Vikage says to him, why are you doing so much for the company? It is just a company. Shannon says, for you, this is just a company, but for me, it is my whole life's hard work. So Vikage says, if that's the case, then you don't need to hurt anyone for it, neither me nor my mom. If you want to take the company, I am ready to give you the company, but I want that old Shannon back, the one who was before. Saying this, he leaves from there. Then we see the same person whom Thanya had called to meet today. After thinking a lot, he leaks the data. The next day, Vikage is watching the news, from which he finds out that the data of those users who were connected to Vikage has been leaked. He gets worried seeing this. On the other hand, Shannon is also worried, and he also realizes Thanya must have done this. His mom is very happy seeing this. Mi Ren is explaining to Vikage, you haven't done anything wrong, so you don't need to take the blame on yourself. The reporters surround Vikage and are questioning him about this, so he tells them, if all this has happened because of me, then I am ready to take full responsibility for it, and I will soon take action against it. Shannon is scolding Thanya. You should have at least told me about this. So she says, your name will not come up anywhere, and Vikage will have to leave the company, so don't worry. Mom is very happy with her plan, but Shannon says, you have no idea how serious this matter is. Our company can also suffer losses from this, and the police will also catch the person who did this. So Thanya says, if you keep following my plan, we won't have any problem. Then we see Vikage, who first comes in front of the media and says sorry, and then explains, I am resigning from the company, and Shannon is going to take my place. Saying this, he asks Shannon to come forward. He is about to come there, but before that, Thanya comes in his place and starts talking about herself. Grandpa gets angry seeing this. He says, why is she trying to take Shannon's place? And how can you let this happen? Then Vikage takes all his files and leaves the company. He says to Mi Ren, whatever work I start now, you support me in it. Then the next day, after waking up in the morning, Vikage first thinks about what work he should start now. Mi Ren is also at her home, and in the morning, she comes and wishes her mom and grandma good morning. Seeing her, grandma says, look, isn't this the same girl who we never see at home? So Mi Ren explains, I am a little busy with work right now. Grandma says, I know that you are now unemployed. Your job is also gone. Mi Ren starts laughing at this, but Mom says, this is not a laughing matter. Whatever new business you are going to start, you should also start applying for jobs along with it, because starting a new business is very difficult, and it is not necessary that it will be successful, so it will be good for you if you find a job beforehand, so that you don't have any problem later. Then she also gives her the work of delivery, go and deliver the sweets. After giving the delivery, Mi Ren and Vikage come to Beg Noi to get business-related information. Beg Noi tells them, with the kind of reputation you people have right now, it will not be easy to start a business at all, because no one will trust you people right now. Vikage says, I want to complete the project with the investor so that people can trust me. Then we see Shannon, who is regretting that he asked Thanya to work with him, because she always makes him follow her plans, and she always instigates him against his own people. Vikage comes to his home and does not see his mom. He starts looking for her by calling her name. He goes upstairs looking for her and sees that Mom is in a room looking at his photos. Seeing this, as he calls his mom, she looks at him and starts asking, who are you? What are my son's photos doing in your room? He starts telling her, I am Vikage, your son, and you are at my house. But his mom starts getting scared of him, and says, "You are working for that lady from whom I always wanted to get rid of." She was talking about Shanon's mom here. She is not even letting Vikage come near her. He says to her, "Okay, I will not come near you. Don't be scared." He tells her to calm down and then leaves from there. Then we see Begnoi, who comes to Shanon's company to meet him. She had come here to take back her investment. Shannon was also going to return her investment because Thanya had already invested a lot. He says to Begnoi, "I don't need your investment right now, so I am returning your investment to you." She becomes happy hearing this because she also wanted the same. She says, "You have done a very good thing. You didn't waste my time. You told me about this quickly." Shannon says, "Yes, I know that you don't like my management style at all, nor do you believe in it. I also don't want to work with someone who doesn't believe in me, nor in my work. And I know that if you work with me, you will feel uncomfortable." Then he asks his assistant to prepare the papers, and she tells him, "I will quickly prepare the papers and send them to you." So Begnoi says, "You don't talk to me. Talk to Mi Ren about the papers." Then they both are leaving from there. Mi Ren says to Begnoi, "You were looking very cool." She says to her, "You tell Vikage to prepare his presentation in English because I want to show that presentation to other investors." Hearing this, Mi Ren becomes even happier. Then she calls Vikage and asks if he had lunch. So he explains, "No, not yet." So Mi Ren says to him, "You have lunch quickly because it's been a long time." Vikage doesn't understand what to cook now. He sees noodles, so he starts making them. And after making them, he first takes a picture of it and sends it to Mi Ren. Vikage had called a doctor who comes and talks to his mom. He asks her, "Do you remember this place?" But she doesn't remember anything, so the doctor tells them, "This is your home." At this, she starts saying, No, this is not my home." So the doctor explains, "The house you remember, you used to live there many years ago, but now you are not living there, because now you live here with your son." He points towards Vikage and starts telling that he is your son. Mom looks at him but doesn't say anything. So the doctor shows her husband's photo and says, "He looks like your husband, doesn't he? Because he has grown up, he is not that little Vikage anymore." And he also starts showing them the photo that Vikage had taken with his mom. Then, after coming out, the doctor is talking to Vikage. "I don't know when her memory will come back, but whenever her memory comes back, you will have to make a video with her, in which she will be telling about herself and everything, and this will benefit her. Whenever her memory goes away, we will show her that video. And you have to always be ready, because this disease can attack at any time." After the doctor leaves, Vikage comes and sits next to his mom and asks her, "Do you remember anything now?" So she explains, "Yes, I remember your auntie was very bad to me." She was talking about Shanon's mom, so Vikage asks her, "What did she do to you?" Then we are shown a flashback scene when Vikage's dad had passed away. Mom is holding his picture and crying, "Why did you leave me like this?" Just then, Shanon's mom comes there and grabs her hair and tells her, "Now you also get out of this house quickly. You don't need to live here either. I will raise your son. And if you don't leave from here, I will kill both you and your son." Saying this, she leaves from there, and Vikage's mom starts crying a lot. In the present, Mi Ren goes and starts asking Vikage, "Have mom's memories come back?" So Vikage explains, "Her memories have not come back yet. I asked her what she remembers, but she didn't remember anything. She just remembered how badly auntie treated her." Mi Ren asks, "What bad did she do?" So Vikage tells her everything that mom had said. It seems that she is the reason for mom's condition, and this is the kind of trauma she is going through. And then he says, "When her memories come back, I will talk to her about this again. Maybe this will help in her treatment." Then he starts asking about the next innovation. What did Begnoi do there? So she explains, "I have ended the contract with Shannon, and he also does not need my investment." Vikage gets worried hearing this. How can this be? Why doesn't he need Begnoi's investment? Mi Ren explains, "Shannon himself said all this as the CEO of the company." Mi Ren continues, "I also asked if we should talk to your grandpa about this, but he refused, saying, 'If I am saying this, then no one else can change this decision.'" Hearing this, Vikage says, "It seems Thanya is investing as much money as the company needs. That's why he refused Begnoi's investment. In terms of money, Thanya is richer than them. But if we talk about experience, Thanya has no experience, nor does she have any knowledge about business." Mi Ren says that Shannon's mom wanted Thanya to work with them. Vikage says, "I still want something to happen that changes this game." And Thanya is left with nothing. And everything comes back to us. Because I don't trust Thanya at all. The way she herself came in Shannon's place on the day of the conference, she can do anything. Then Vikage is making food for his mom. When she comes there, he calls her mom, and she smiles back at him. So Vikage understands that his mom's memory has come back. He asks, "Mom, do you remember me?" So she nods her head and yes. He quickly makes her sit and brings something for her to eat, and sits with her. Mom asks, "Did I take a long time to get my memory back this time? And did I create any problem for you?" Vikage says, "No, it's nothing like that. I have to ask you something." Then he starts asking her about Shannon's mom. How did she trouble you? What did she do to you? So she starts explaining, "Your dad once told me your auntie doesn't like me at all. That's why she used to trouble me. And she always used to say to me, you married my brother because you wanted his money. And she also felt that she had worked hard in the company, but the company was named after her brother. That is my husband. And after him, that company would go to you. That's why she didn't like me. Whereas I had never thought about your daddy's money. At first, she had one son, but when you were born, she started thinking that after your dad, all his property would go to you. Grandpa always liked Shannon at first. He was the first son of their family. Then, when you were born, he also loved you. It's just that after your dad's death, he started loving you a little more so that you wouldn't feel his absence. And after your dad's death, I started getting even more scared of your auntie. What will she do to me now? Saying this, she starts crying, but Vikage calms her down and says, Mom, even if you forget me, I will never forget you. You are my mom. Saying this, he hugs her. Then Shannon comes and meets the person who had leaked the data at Thanya's behest. He says to them, why did you leak the data at Thanya's behest? Why didn't you come and ask me? That person says, we thought you both worked together. So Shannon say, from now on, you have to take orders from me, and you have to do only what I tell you. Apart from this, you don't have to listen to anyone else. But that person say, I listen to Thanya because she gives us a good bonus, but you have never done anything for us. Instead, you are calling me here and asking why I did, whereas you yourself have become the CEO because of her. If she had not done all this, you would never have become the CEO either. And if you want me to follow your orders, you will have to give me a good bonus too. Saying this, he leaves. Then later that person goes to Thanya and tells her about Shannon. He had called me and was also telling me not to follow your orders. Then we see Shannon in his office. He is fighting with someone on the call because his order had not reached on time. The person on the call was saying, we didn't know about you. We used to work with Vikage. So he says, now you people work with me, so you have to follow my way. Just then, his assistant comes there. She tells him, Grandpa wants to meet you. He starts giving her some work. In the meantime, he also talks about Thanya, which makes his assistant realize that Thanya was behind the data leak. She starts saying, I thought the data was leaked because of Vikage, but all this happened because of Thanya. So Shannon says, I didn't know about this, but now we have to clean up the mess she has created. We have to do something for our company so that our company does not go into loss. Then he goes to Grandpa. Grandpa tells him, you should not partner with Thanya but with Beg Noi, because she will not be a good partner. And stop. Then we see Mi Ren, who brings Vikage to a place to roam where rich people did not come. Vikage had never seen that place before, so he enjoys a lot there. Grandpa holds an emergency meeting in the company and calls all the investors. He says, I had to tell you all that I have started an investigation to find out about our internal affairs. How did Vikage's data leak? Now hearing this, Shannon and Thanya get worried because if the investigation has started, then Thanya's name will also come out. That's why she starts shouting at Grandpa there. I am such a big investor here. So shouldn't I be asked about this? You people have started the investigation yourselves. Why was I not asked anything? Tell me who is the person who is investigating. Is he from our company or somewhere else? If he is from outside, then how did you believe him that he will not leak our information? Shannon tells her to be quiet, but she keeps shouting at Grandpa. What have you done for this company? You just created a company and left it, and you don't do anything else. The CEO of this company is Shannon. He has to manage everything. Then why are you doing all this? The major shareholder is me, and keep Vikage's case aside. He is nothing to this company now. Anyway, you are quite old now. You should retire now. Hearing this, Shannon and his mom both get angry. They both tell her to be quiet, but Thanya was not taking the name of being quiet. She was just shouting at Grandpa. And she also tells Shannon, I have the most shares, so I will run the next innovation, and I can also fire all of you. I can sit as the CEO myself in your place. Hearing this, Shannon and his mom are both shocked. And Grandpa's health deteriorates a lot, and he falls right there. Shannon quickly goes and supports him, and his assistant quickly calls an ambulance. When Vikage also finds out about Grandpa, he also quickly comes to the hospital and asks Shannon what happened to Grandpa. He is saying sorry to Vikage because Thanya had taken everything and Grandpa's health had also deteriorated. Shannon had found out that the one he thought was good had also taken his company from him. He says to Vikage, I didn't want anything like what has happened. He is repeatedly saying sorry to Vikage. Then the doctor tells them he is fine now. He just fainted due to taking too much stress. Everyone goes inside to see Grandpa. Grandpa starts apologizing to Shannon. I did very wrong with you. I should have loved you both equally. At first I thought Shannon would not feel like this, but now I am understanding that I did wrong. Because of this, you two separated. And today, because of this, our company has come into the hands of a stranger girl. Vikage says, you don't take stress. I promise you that I will not let anyone take this company. Me and Shannon will find some solution together. You don't need to worry about this at all. And Shannon also says, you don't worry about all this. Then they both leave from there for their company. Mi Ren is also very happy to see both the brothers together and says to them, you two look very cool together. It seems like you two brothers are going like superheroes to finish the bad people. On the way, Shannon tells him, Thanya had leaked your data. Vikage says, why didn't you stop her? So he says, I found out about this after it happened. When I talked to that person about this, he started threatening me, saying, I will support Thanya only. And if we want him to side with us, we will have to give more money than Thanya. Then they both tell everyone in the company about the data leak and also tell them that Thanya has done all this. They are asked, if Thanya has done this, then show us the evidence. They also email the evidence to all those people. It was being shown in the email that their programmers had leaked the data along with Thanya. After seeing this, people believe, and Thanya was ruined. Grandpa is also watching their press conference, and he is very happy. Then we are shown a scene from a month later where Vikage and Shannon enter the company. There, Mi Ren and Shannon's assistant have also made a cake for them. She was celebrating the 1-month anniversary of his return to this company because it had been 1 month since they came to the company. Then in the meeting, Grandpa says, I want to ask my 2 grandsons, whom should I make the CEO between the 2 of them? So Vikage and Shannon both point their hands towards each other. Grandpa also starts laughing seeing this, but then Grandpa takes the name of the CEO, who is Shannon's mom. Hearing this, she is very shocked. Vikage is very happy for them. Shannon's mom also did not hate Vikage now. She comes to Grandpa and hugs them. After this, she comes to talk to Vikage. First, she says is sorry to him and then says, I want and Grandpa also wants that your mom should also come and meet us. She is also a part of our family. Hearing this, Vikage becomes happy. What? He says, do you want to give me a second chance? I also want to say sorry to them. He tells them her memory is gone, but this is also fine. She will also be able to start her relationship with you again. Then Vikage meets Mi Ren and talks to her about marriage because he wanted to marry her soon. Hearing this, Mi Ren is a little shy. She also turns her face to the other side, but then Vikage kisses her on the cheek and leaves from there. Then Mi Ren comes to her house and Grandma starts telling her, you wore the same dress that I gave you, right? And look how lucky it was for you. You got such a good job and such a good boy too. Mi Ren starts laughing hearing this, and they both also start laughing with her. The next day, Vikage brings his mom to Auntie's house. Shannon's mom comes in front of them, but Vikage's mom cannot recognize her. Then she sits and talks with Vikage's mom and is also saying sorry to her, but Vikage's mom does not understand why she is saying sorry because she does not know anything. Grandpa also comes and meets his mom. Then Vikage takes Mi Ren to the amusement park and takes her near the ride and proposes to her with his mom's ring. Mi Ren also says yes to him, and she had already written her love confession in her diary. She tells Vikage about it, so he takes it out and starts reading it. He is very happy reading it, and then he puts his mom's ring on her. Mi Ren says, can we have our marriage near this ride? At first he starts laughing hearing this, then says, yes, we can. And then they both kiss each other. In the last scene, we see Mi Ren, Vikage, and Shannon. They are all sitting and working together. Shannon says, I have to find a new assistant for myself because his assistant had been promoted. Just then, a girl comes there for an interview and her name was the same as Shannon's mom's name. Hearing this, Mi Ren says to her, now your chances have increased. You will definitely get this job. And here the drama has a happy ending.